The magical and heroic socialite of the Eternals, Sersi is such an expert in transmutation that she can turn everything into anything. She has many powers and she can talk to the Celestials. She was linked to many guys such as Macari, Icarus, Captain America, Tony Stark, the Black Knight, Proctor, and even Jarvis. She was even a member of the Avengers, the New Breed, and the God Squad. She even fought with the X-Men in one occasion. Welcome to Vita Comics, and in today's episode, let's discuss the everlasting life and times of Sersi the Eternal. The Eternals are powerful beings created by the Celestials out of their experimentations of the early forms of humans more than 1,000,000 years ago, and Sersi is an Eternal. Sersi's main power is matter transmutation. Through molecular rearrangements, she can turn animals into different beings, and she can turn inorganic objects into living creatures or vice versa. She also has telepathic connections with other Eternals. She can edit memories of humans. She has laser beams, telekinesis, super strength, flight, create duplicates of others, and has minor healing powers. And yes, she can dance too. Despite her usual party-going attitude, she still knows when to step up her game to save others and act as a leader when necessary. In the comics, the love interest of Sersi throughout the millennia is the male version of Macari, but in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, her love interest is Icarus. According to the files of the Avengers, Sersi's father is Helios and her mother is Perse, and she was born in Olympia. About 5,000 years ago, Gilgamesh, another Eternal, was the king of Uruk in Mesopotamia. Captain America somewhat traveled back in time and met Gilgamesh and a very young child, Sersi, under the care of Utnapishtim, the Mesopotamian version of Noah of the biblical Noah's Ark. Here, the young Sersi turned dead flowers into fresh ones. During the ancient Greek period, she encountered Odysseus during his 10-year journey wherein she turned his men into pigs. Sersi fell in love with Odysseus and turned them back into humans and set them free. She was then later known as Sersi with the letter C. Sersi was also the great sorceress who placed back the demons into the box of the ancient story of Pandora's box. During the ancient Egyptian period, she is seen reviving Phastos in one of the pyramids to fight Apocalypse. During the first Roman century, she was with Catiline when he was attempting to overthrow Cicero. She was present during the Great Fire of Rome in 64 AD, and she also ran into Attila the Hun in 454 AD. During the days of King Arthur Pendragon, she showed Merlin a few show-stopping tricks. Then, about 1,000 years ago, Sersi revealed to Tina the truth behind Tina's deviant lover named Zygo. Zygo was harvesting human and Neanderthal organs to extend his life and become an Eternal. Tina then killed Zygo. Forward to the present time, Sersi is a major socialite and she lives in New York City. She would frequently hold parties with the rich and famous of the city. Warren Worthington, also known as Archangel, was one of the regular guests. When the fourth host of the Celestials arrived, Icarus asked Sersi to look after Margot, Icarus' love interest. However, Sersi and Margot were soon kidnapped by deviants under the command of Crow. She was released when Tina made a truce with Crow. After that, Sersi encountered the Avengers and was known as Sylvia Sersi. She-Hulk invited Star Fox and the Wasp to one of Sersi's parties. Later, Captain America was investigating the case of missing teenagers, so he sought the help of Sersi to change him into a teenager for 48 hours. The case was resolved and Sersi started flirting with Captain America. When Gilgamesh was temporarily injured by the lava monster, Captain America invited Sersi to join the team in Gilgamesh's place. Then, when the compressor created by Nebula and Harker caused a widespread neural pain, Sersi accepted the offer and helped the Avengers by using her telepathic powers in identifying the source. Sersi was then kidnapped by Thane Ector, leader of the Brethren, another race created by the Celestials, and they become successful in defeating the Avengers in many occasions. Sersi and Thane Ector had a quick liking to each other when the Collector showed up as the real villain who manipulated the Brethren into attacking Earth. Sersi then helped the Brethren create a Unimind to defeat the Collector. In her time with the Avengers, she wore a red costume and became more aggressive and even kills enemies. Icarus and Ajax of the Eternals took notice of her aggression and realized that she could be suffering a mental disease called Madwiri, which is primarily caused by their long lifespan. The solution for this is to kill Sersi, but the Avengers did not agree with the Eternals. So, Icarus made Dane Whitman, the Black Knight, become her Ganjosin, a soulmate who would gauge and share the effects of the Madwiri. Although the Black Knight had feelings for Sersi, he was actually in love with Crystal. Proctor, an alternate version of Dane Whitman from a different universe, controlled the white version of Vision and attacked the Avengers. It is revealed that Proctor is in love with the Sersi of his universe and, due to heartbreak, wished to eliminate all other Sersis from other universes. Proctor mentally antagonized Sersi, which added to her mental instability. Sersi eventually broke free from Proctor and killed him with his own sword. Upon realizing that her mental disease is irreversible, Sersi and Black Knight traveled to the Ultraforce, where she was possessed by the Infinity Gems. She was released when her role to create the powerful being called Nemesis was done. When she got back to Earth, she rejoined the Eternals and they formed a new group called New Breed, and she became known as Mesmer. In the 2006 volume of the Eternals, the minds of the Eternals were wiped clean and they all essentially became normal human beings. Sersi became a party planner and organized an event for Druig, who became a deputy prime minister of Vorosheka. In the party, some gunmen shot the husband of Thena, who became a scientist, and these gunmen kidnapped the scientists in the party. Because of this event and because most of the Eternals are also on that party, their powers started to manifest. Eventually, they found that it was Sprite who made them forget who they were. When Sersi rediscovered her powers, she turned a pile of trash into gold and bought a loft in California and still tried to live a normal human life. She also tried to revive her relationship with Macari, but Macari is somewhat constantly disturbed by the Dreaming Celestial, as he is chosen as the new link between Celestials and humanity instead of Ajax. Sersi confronted the Celestial to leave Macari alone, but Macari was killed by Gilgamesh and Ajax. Upon learning the Dreaming Celestial was developing Macari to stop the destruction of Earth, Sersi merged with the Dreaming Celestial and used her transmutation powers to physically transform herself into Macari, including his memories. Eventually, the Eternals learned about the truth of their existence. They learned that they were meant to cultivate humankind and act as antibodies against the Horde, which are the main enemies of the Celestials. Sersi and the Eternals committed suicide. In the 5th volume of the Eternals, Sersi was reborn, but so was Thanos. Thanos then killed Zuras, leader of the Eternals, and they found out that the regeneration machine was also malfunctioning. If they cannot reactivate the machine, Earth will be destroyed. Sersi then gathered her trusted Eternals to initiate the investigation about Thanos and the regeneration machine. Her first primary suspect was Thena, as Thena is seen to have the intelligence and will to kill Zuras. Sersi's next suspect is the Forgotten One, as he has always hated the Eternals. Eventually, it was revealed that Phastos was the one who sabotaged the machine and revived Thanos. Phastos explained that the continuous regeneration of the Eternals causes the deaths of humans and threatens the planet. So, Sersi and the team went to Lemuria to find ways to resolve this. In the recent volume of the X-Men, Sersi was explaining to the Human Torch at the Krakoan Hellfire Gala about how the new batch of X-Men were selected telepathically by many other mutants through Jean Grey. In the Marvel Cinematic Universe, Sersi became the Prime Eternal after the death of Ajax. Here, she is not a flirtatious socialite, but she has two men in her life, and they were Icarus and the Black Knight. Upon talking to Arishem, the Celestial that manages them, she discovered the real reason on the existence of the Eternals on Earth, and that is to cultivate life and innovations with humankind to make way for the emergence of the next Celestial, whose name is Tiamut. However, the birth of this Celestial would mean the eventual destruction of Earth. So, after battling Icarus and Sprite, Sersi collected the cosmic powers of the Eternals and formed the Unimind. With the Unimind and her power of transmutation, she was able to put the Celestial to sleep and prevented its birth. Overall, Sersi is a powerful but sometimes playful and brutal member of the Eternals and one of the Avengers. Despite her mischievous predispositions, she can still play a serious leader and savior of humanity when needed. Have you seen the Eternals movie? What do you think will be the next role or activities of Sersi on the next Marvel films? Let us know what you think and hit subscribe.